Welcome to Childcare Conversations with Kate and Carrie.
So let's get butts in the seats.
Absolutely.
I think that's good. I think most centers want to get more children enrolled at their program. So we've got a guest today that's going to help with that, right?
Well, that's
So-
the goal, I
Absolutely.
think, anyway, right? So Ruth Ann Rose with Rose Marketing. Did I get that right?
Rose Marketing Solutions.
Rose Marketing Solutions. I'm like, I feel like there was a word after that. And so Rose Marketing Solutions is our guest today. And Ruth Ann, do me a favor. Tell us a little bit about what you do and either broad or specific, and why a child care center with a single location or multiple locations might think about using your services.
Absolutely. Well, you've already said it. We help put little bottoms in little seats, right? So basically, what we do at Rose Marketing Solutions is work with school owners, early childhood center owners, some K through 12, work with those owners and finding ways to attract moms and dads to their location, to drive tours, to drive enrollment. It's that easy. We just know it's getting harder and harder to get parents' attention when they need childcare for them to find you. And so if they don't find you, they can't tour and enroll, right? So in a nutshell, that's what we're all about. Now, we do it through a variety of ways, helping create websites, helping create branding, lots of Google ads, meta ads, but even more importantly now, turning again to AI, because SEO, search engine optimization, isn't dead. It's just got a rebrand, right? So today we have to be sure that answer engines also find you. So it's getting complicated, right? It used to be if you just had a great location, great word of mouth, ran a great company, and you were in the yellow pages. Remember the yellow pages?
I do.
That
I
you,
do remember
yeah,
the yellow pages. I am
that
owl.
used to, yeah, that used to be it. Well, now you've got to layer into it, reviews and social media. Now we've got AI, so it's just getting more and more complicated to get parents to find you, and that's why we're
Okay,
here
this
to
sounds
give
like
you that
way
solution.
more than what I want to try to deal with.
Yeah.
So, like,
Oops.
whoa, like Ruth Ann just gave us a laundry list. And I'm thinking, I don't know about you, Carrie, but aren't you glad we were a yellow pages era?
I mean, yes. It would have been smarter back in the Yellow Pages era if my first center hadn't been called Little People, because that's halfway through the alphabet. It needed to be like Albatross or something like
I think
that.
that's the reason why there's so many ABC childcares. I mean, I really do. I don't think, I don't see a whole lot of AAA childcare. I see a lot of AAA plumbing and things like that. But
Yeah.
absolutely, I totally agree with you, Carrie. I mean, we know that there's a reason why Texas Director is now all Texas Director.
Because there is a listing where it's alphabetical, and so we went, we'll
Yeah.
take the first one.
Yeah, well, those
but
days are
we
gone.
Yeah, with search engine optimization, with having to be on, at least one social media, if not four, depending on your area and your audience. I mean, that is an awful lot to put on anyone's page.
It is, especially for somebody who really went into the industry with, that desire to support families, to educate children, that strong desire to make a difference in the world through education. Marketing is usually not what they signed up for. It's not their first love, and it feels like a foreign language, right? So it can be difficult for owners, absolutely.
So, as a foreign language speaker, why don't you give us a couple of vocabulary words? You used them as if they were nothing and like everybody should know what they were. But I'd love for you to talk a little bit more because it's one of the things that I notice people often forget is brand. And
Yes.
so, share for somebody who's listening who maybe have been doing their stuff in Canva or in whatever they want to do. They're just, whatever their mood, or maybe they copy from somebody else. Um, Talk a little bit about brand, the importance of a brand, um, maybe even kind of what that means, because that really is a word that I would suspect a lot of childcare owners and directors may have some disconnects with, or may not be really clear in understanding
Okay.
what it is or why it's important.
Well, thanks, Kate. That could be a whole dissertation, but I will try to answer
I
small.
know.
Yeah, yeah, I bet you're famous for that. So, brand is basically your promise to people. It's your brand should signify something to them that where they can know what to expect. They see the brand and they know what to expect. Like at Chick-fil-A, if you get something, you know they're going to say my pleasure, right? That's the brand. So branding in a childcare situation has several connotations. One, you need to have a great logo, obviously, but you also need to have consistent colors and fonts. And I'm saying this because I see a lot in childcare. Is you may have a logo on the outside of the building, you may have a different logo on your website. Your social media pages might have a slightly different version. And then if you have somebody on your staff taking care of your social media, they may be doing whatever they think is pretty in Canva, right, for your post. So where brand really matters for early childhood education is that, let's say, you're working with me or somebody, and because of our work, a parent finds your school in digital media. Let's say the Google Maps, for instance, and then they click on the link to go to your website. And maybe there's a disconnect. Maybe the branding, color, fonts, logos on the ad don't match what's on your website. Well, now you've created this disconnect, right? They're like, oh, is this not where I was trying to go to? Is this not where I was being led? Or let's say they do match, but then they get to your social media. And again, maybe your colors are blue and gold, but your staff really likes pink and purple. So they're doing your post in pink and purple. Again, that's another disruption. Parents don't really know who you are. If you're consistent, are they landing in the right place? You're disrupting that journey, and you're causing internal questions in their mind. And once they have questions about your consistency, subconsciously they have to start thinking about, well, if this is the inconsistency in how they present themselves, what is the consistency of care my child is going to get? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I know
Yeah.
Carrie's dying to ask you another question related to brand and
Yes.
consistency. I can see it.
All
Well,
right,
I
Carrie.
mean, I have this issue because I was raised by a printer. And what I was taught as a printer's daughter was that the purpose of a logo was that it is instantly identifiable. And to make it instantly identifiable, it needs to be 2 or at most 3 colors. It should not have 12. Is that
Correct.
still what is recommended?
Oh, absolutely. And I'll even say, please don't use clip art and think it's a logo.
Well,
You
who
can
said
put
You know,
clip
clip art
art.
has 12 colors? Like, um, we do a workshop where we often talk about this, but where I thought Carrie was going to go, and I'm going to have to let you guys have this discussion, is the brand or name or logo or artwork as it relates to the educational philosophy
Oh,
of the
well, yes.
program.
yeah,
And
yeah, it really does.
this is a whole
Yeah.
other, like, Carrie will get on a soapbox. And so if you are a mom and pop's program and you want that homey feel, what should the brand kind of tell them? I mean, again, when you start talking about that disconnect.
Well, yeah, like I said, this could be a huge conversation. I mean, you've already said it, right? The brand should convey something about your personality, the type of care, and your education philosophy. And that's kind of hard to do in a logo, so it really does take a lot of thought. But I want to kind of bypass that a little bit because I've got, if I can make one point on brand specifically that someone could use today. Once you've worked with a professional and got your logo, be sure they put it into at least a one-page brand guide for you, so that you always have the codes for each color, for print, for digital. All the fonts are identified. The ways you can use your logo. You've got it in several different versions, and that's going to save you a lot of time and money. So whenever you're ordering T-shirts, building a
Well,
website,
and let me just say, if
doing
somebody
anything,
gives it
then
to you
you've
as
got it all.
and if somebody gives it to you as a Canva kit, this is not still your brand kit. You need to have your logo as a TIFF, as a PNG, as all the
Yep, yep,
different formats, vertical, horizontal, black and white, or
exactly.
white and black, depending on if you're going to
Hmm.
use it on shirts or whatever, right? So,
Yeah.
and if you're not really sure what that is, this is a great reason to call Rose Marketing Solutions and have somebody
Absolutely.
look at what you have, because Carrie and I
Yeah.
have um, had people do work for us, and they gave us the brand kit as a Canva file. And so then we had, and again, we have enough background. Okay, over 30 years in printing and publishing each, not including our childcare experience. And so when we look, we know how to save that Canva file and
Right.
why to save it in all those formats. Not everybody who's listening to the call will probably know the difference between a TIFF file and a PNG, and why you might need different ones, and how to resize and why to resize, and why black
Yep.
and white
Yep.
and all those things, right? So
Absolutely.
but
Absolutely.
definitely, if you've paid to have a brand kit, and maybe it was somebody starting out, or maybe it was somebody you just know and you really liked what they've been doing, and your logo might be in a dozen colors. Again, somebody like Rose Marketing Solutions can help you not change it, but take it and
Yes.
bring it back down to manageable color loads. Because if you're
Absolutely.
using embroidery on your shirts, it's a lot cheaper to go with 2 colors versus 12.
Absolutely.
If you're printing your shirts, screen printing one color is always going to be cheaper than having to go to a different type of print
Absolutely.
process to get a full color artwork.
Right.
So,
Well,
um,
even with your staff hours, think about it. You probably have assigned somebody in your staff the job of doing social media posts. If you will take that guide and put it into Canva, as you mentioned, and lock in that brand guide, then you tell your staff, look, I appreciate you're doing a social media, you're doing a great job, but please only use these colors. Please only use, this font, and lock it in. Don't let them go rogue. Again, because if you have somebody doing a social media post in different colors, it's another disconnect. And we want that journey to be the same. Especially when someone like myself, our team is helping you with Google or Meta ads. Again, we want that consistency so that people see the brand all the way through, never doubt where they are, that they're in the right place, and understand what you stand for. Really, really important. Really, really important.
all right.
Yeah,
So go ahead, Carrie.
I was just gonna say it is it's one of those things where we get very a lot of times we get very tied into, oh, this is so cute, but this is so cute doesn't necessarily convey your values, what you think is important in early education to your customers.
Right.
And that is an important part of it. And again, that consistency so that it's the same every time they see you, so that they have that feeling that they can trust you. It's not
Right.
a
Yes.
logical thought. They're not using their prefrontal cortex. This is all midbrain, their reaction that this is the same every time I see it gives them a sense of comfort and trust. Just like a kid
Exactly.
coming into the classroom, and every day they
Mhm.
come in and the routine is the same. It's that same
Exactly.
thing that we're doing to settle their midbrain. Okay,
Well,
so
and even to
this
the
is
point of once they come into the school, is the tour packet, physical tour packet you're handing to them, are those fresh copies or are they copies of copies? Is it the same logo? Is it the same colors, the same fonts? Is your enrollment forms, again, color and font? Is your employment application also matching? It's everything, because you got to remember you really got four audiences in an early childhood center. You've got your enrolled parents, right? You want them to continue to feel like they have chosen a great place. So your social media content should be reassuring them, as well as your internal forms and correspondence to them, right? Should always still be consistent. And then you've got the prospects, right? You want those families who are peeking in your digital windows, to see what you look like and what your culture is. Again, they have to see the consistency. And then not enrolled staff, employed staff, they want to see that you're consistent, because that kind of implies that your paycheck's going to be consistent to them, right? That you are an employer of quality, of loyalty, of consistency. And then for prospective staff, again, they want to see that same culture, continuity, and no disruptions in their employment search, right? They want to make sure everything looks the same. So there's a lot to be said for that. And again, when you start playing into Google Ads, Meta Ads, answer engine optimization, again, everything needs to be consistent.
Wow. So
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you've given us a lot of places and things we need to think about, we need to do. And like you said, it could be a dissertation. And so, since this is designed to be a 20-minute podcast, we are not going to try to solve everything. But
Right.
what is something that you're seeing the programs are totally missing right now? And a lot of it has to do with they don't have a clue where to start, or even why this
Right.
is something that again to you might be, well, why are you not doing it? What are some things that
You know, Kate, I'm glad you asked because this is the number one thing I see. Um, when I get on a discovery phone call with people, and we love to give free discovery calls. It's just a 15-minute, quick look at your what we call digital footprint. But we do screen share with the owners, again, quick 15 minutes. And one of the first things I always do is with them watching, pull up their Google My Business page. This is one of the footprints you have online, correct? And I've got to tell you, more often than not, there's something wrong with that profile. And this, I don't want to scare anybody, but the most recent thing I found lately was I'm doing the screen share with an owner. We go to their Google Business page. I click on their website link, and a porn site pulls up.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
so that's
well, I
what I'm
really
always
hope that
telling.
this is not the clip that any of the AI decides to pull.
Well, you might get a whole nother set of viewers, so we can edit
I
that out
know.
if you want.
I'm like going, mental note, must tell producer, do not use this AI clip.
Okay. Well, let's start over then, because that
But
I didn't
no, I
even think
mean, I
about
think
that.
it's
Yeah.
very valid because people don't go back and check to make sure that their pages.
Right.
Kate had a similar thing in her
I
in
did.
her personal history, and it's having that outside person come in and
Right.
audit and show you maybe one of the reasons why you're not getting enrollment is that this is
Yep.
happening. And it could
Yeah,
also be
I
that
think
yeah.
it was a company that I used to work for. That the new owner of the domain name is exactly what you mentioned, that kind of site, and so I have to be really careful how I list it on resumes, or anything. I sometimes I don't.
Yeah.
I prefer
Well,
project-based resumes now.
exactly. Well, and that was a drastic one, right? But just even yesterday, I was on a call and I was auditing their social media, and one of their posts had, click here to schedule a call. But when we clicked it, we got a security certificate notice
Ooh.
came up. And so that meant all this money she'd been putting into her Facebook or Meta ads to get people to schedule a tour, people were hitting a wall. Now, who's going to tell you? A prospect was not going to call and say, "Oh, I couldn't get through to your site." They're just going to move on to the next school, right?
right.
So again, that was a connection between her CRM, and basically she got a new website that the page that her scheduled tour link used to be on no longer existed on the new site. So it was a disconnect. So that's what I'm always telling people, go audit what you look like online. Click every link, go create a spreadsheet, Google yourself, put all the links to places you appear on and go and check every single link and make sure the NAP is correct. NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. If they're not all written exactly the same on every listing, Google Maps, Apple Maps, Google My Business, Facebook, Instagram, there's going to be a disconnect in the algorithm. So I think that's my number one thing is tell people just please audit. If it's listings are not set it and forget it. Glitches happen, links break, and you don't want to disrupt that parent journey.
And if this is stressing you out, because it is stressing me out, because Kate and I have like 4 companies, and I'm like, I know we haven't done an audit recently. I'm going to suggest that this is one of those, instead of knowing how to do it, know who can do it. I think this is
Yeah.
a go find someone who can do it. Rose Marketing will help you with it, or Marketing Solutions, right?
Yes. Because we
Can
solve
help you
problems.
with it. Yes. So, find someone to go do this for you and have it as something that they do on at least, I would suggest quarterly. Is that because in my head, everything should be done quarterly.
Oh, it's a simple health routine situation, right? You just had a task reminder, go check. 9 times out of 10, you might not find anything wrong, but gosh, to know that one client couldn't schedule a tour, people just couldn't schedule a tour. That's a lot of money being wasted.
Yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
and I think, when one of the things that we say in our classes is that the last thing you cut in your budget is the marketing. You have to be spending money on paying for the building and on marketing. If you can't
Yeah.
pay for the building anymore, then you can consider reducing your marketing. But you reduce
Yeah.
staff, you reduce your internet, you reduce your supplies, you go down to we're all eating oatmeal 3 times a day. You reduce everything else before you
Yes.
because marketing is the lifeblood of your business. And very few of us got into this business because we wanted to be marketers or we wanted to be
That's right.
salespeople. But if you're not doing marketing and if you're not selling your program, you cannot pay your teachers. You cannot buy the googly eyes. You have to be marketing your program.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Unfortunately, that's the number one reason sometimes we hear that people, we most of our relationships are about 7 to 8 years, so we don't have a lot of churn in our particular business. When when we do, a lot of times it comes back to I've lost so much enrollment, I don't have marketing dollars, and that's what they're choosing to cut. And I
And they
understand that
don't
you've
they
got
don't
payroll.
understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you've got your teachers looking in the face wanting their paycheck, uh, and so we just got to be sure that those people get paid. That's where their heart goes, but it's not a long term good move to cut marketing, especially now with AI and answer engine optimization coming in. And that's a whole other topic I'd love to cover at some point with you as well.
Well,
well, we
sounds
can
great.
do that.
Well,
Not
absolutely. So
today.
thank you for joining us, Ruth Ann. And if you got something that you enjoyed from the show, go check us out and your podcasting app. And with that, we will talk to you later this week.
Thanks for tuning in. We love bringing you real talk and fresh insight from the world of early childhood education. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all of the latest episodes. And if you're planning a conference, training, or special event, Kate and Carrie would love to speak to your audience. You can learn more about their keynote sessions and workshops at kateandcarrie.com. If you learned something today, share the show and leave us a review below. We'll see you next time on Childcare Conversations.